What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another backyard jeeping video. My name is Cherokee, and on today's episode of I Should Have Bought a Prius, we're going to be changing out the alternator here in Big Booty Judy. I just want to apologize in advance for the way that I sound. I'm pretty sick. The weather here in West by God, Virginia can't make its mind up. One day it's 70 and sunny, the next day it's cloudy and 30. So please like, subscribe, and share. Also check out the Instagram and Facebook at Backyard Jeeping and the online store backyardjeeping.com. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. This is the alternator that I got. I got it from Advanced Auto. AutoZone or Raleigh didn't have any in stock. This is just a CarQuest Premium. It was the cheapest one they had, but the only one they had in stock. So yeah, I believe it was like $154 with the core charge. Then I'll get, I think it's $22 or $23 back after I bring in the old alternator. Go ahead and take out my battery. So all I have left to do on this is just take out the battery tray, and then I can start working on the alternator. So let me go ahead, get the camera set up, and we'll go ahead and get this started. Alright, so like I said, I already got the battery out. I only have one 15mm bolt nut holding in the battery tray. On mine, you might have three. Looks like I have one that was broken at some point in time. One that's MIA, so we got the good old lucky one on there. So let me just go ahead and get my 15mm socket. And we'll loosen that up. Let me get one more extension. I thought that was going to be long enough. Go ahead and get this loosened. Now with your battery tray, you have that sensor that's on there also. Let me make sure I get this out of here so I don't lose that. And that one. I'll just hang that off to the side there. Now you have a sensor that's in the temperature sensor. What you can do is there's on the plug side, it's just held into the frame or to the body by a like a Christmas tree clip. You can just take that off and hang it off to the side so you don't have to try to unplug it and all that stuff. And then where we're going to is just right down there. Let me move the camera around so you guys can see. What we're trying to get to is that right there. That is the alternator. So as you can see, there's a 15mm nut and bolt. There's 15mm on both sides. Right now, before we can take the alternator out, before we even try to loosen the bolts or anything like that, we got to loosen up our belt so that way we can take it off. Now, for video purposes, I just took off my electrical fan and just took it out just that way you guys can see a little bit better. But you have your tensioner pulley here. That is a 15mm. Then you have a 15mm here. You want to loosen this first and then loosen that so that way you have enough until you have enough to take off the belt. So I just have my 15mm and I'll put it on there and we'll give it a few turns. Alright, once you got it loose enough to where you can just slide it over one of the flat pulleys. I can do this with the camera there. Alright, just to save myself some time, I just took it off of the tensioner pulley and then I took it off of the alternator there. So that whenever I put the new one back on, I can just put it on the alternator and then back on the tensioner pulley and tighten it all back up. So now, let me get you set up to where we can actually take out the alternator. Alright guys, we can work on taking out the alternator now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the battery cable. It's just behind this plastic piece here. At the top there is a little tab you can peel up. And that'll pop right off and expose the nut right there. So let me go ahead and try to hard to do with the camera just directly right there. So I was able to move the camera and get that nut broken free. So let me go ahead and just twist it off with my fingers now. Alright, take that off. And then I'll just put the nut back on the back of it. And then down here, underneath the battery cable, there's a little plug-in. And I believe that's the regulator. I believe that's what it's called. And it's just a push tab. So what I'm going to do is to show you guys the back of it better, is I'm actually going to just leave this connector plugged in, because there's enough for me to be able to pull it up and twist it, just to show you guys a little bit better. So now I just have a 15mm nut and bolt. So let me go ahead and get those taken out. Alright, and we got the nut and bolt out. So I'll just sit this over here. Now we can move down to the bottom. Make sure you got your prop bar with you. Now we are under the Jeep. Right here is the alternator, and then you have a 15mm bolt right here at the bottom. It's just a bolt, it goes all the way through, there's no nut on the back. It's a 15mm, so let me go ahead and get that loose, and then we can pry to loosen it from this bracket. So let me try to do this with the camera in the way. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right here and just pry it out of that spot. Sorry about that. While prying it out, I hit the camera. Let's go ahead and get this pried up out of the way. Just be careful. Alright, looks like we are free. Yep, we are free. So now we can go fish it up from the top. Alright, after some prying and maneuvering, finally got the alternator out. Here is where that battery cable connects to that I was talking about. There's a nut for that. And then here is the plug-in that I was talking about. I believe it's called the regulator. Don't quote me on that. But basically, it's just a pinch tab, a push tab. Right here is the connector for it, so it's facing the block. You just push in, wiggle it, and it'll come out. And there we go. The old alternator is out and free. Right there. And the hard part is out of the way. Knock on wood. Let's get the new one in, let everything lined up so we can get the bolts in and then get it all connected. And once again, the camera is, see, if I had a camera guy, I could have him sit on the other. I'm not making no excuses. I'm getting the job done. I'm trying for you guys, you know, but I could have them maybe stand behind me or something like that, just that way the camera's not in my way, but we work with what we got, right? Alright, so I'm recording this on my phone just so you guys can try to see exactly what I'm doing here. Because I'll have the camera sitting right here. It's just sitting out of the way for now, but I have it sitting right here, you know, on this right here. So I'm trying to have this little bit of area to work with. It's kind of hard. But I just have it sitting down here. I snaked it through, put it down, slid it over, and I'll just have it sitting here. Alright, so after you do some maneuvering, get that lined up into place. You go ahead and put your bolt through. Just make sure you have it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's a good enough space on the clutch fan there to be able to fish it through. Just like that. Now it's all the way through. Grab your nut. Put that on there. connect your wiring. I went ahead and connected that down there. Before I tighten it up, I'll wait to do the battery cable after I get everything tightened up. Now I'm not going to tighten this top one up. I'm just going to make it a snug fit. Just that way, that gives us room to move the bottom one and not get it all hung up. Make it a little bit. Alright, so what I did was I knocked the camera off first off. But I have the top bolt and nut in, have it just snugged down just enough to hold it in there so it don't come off. And then I can go on the bottom. Again, here is the bottom of the alternator. All we have to do is I'm going to use my pry bar here just to push this into the bracket here. And then we can put the bolt through. Now at the top, remember we just have that down snug just a little bit. Just that way it doesn't come out, and we have enough play here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this into position. There we go, perfect, right on the money now. And then we just get our 15 millimeter. Let's see. Now while I'm down here, I'm actually going to go ahead and just connect the battery wire also. Let's go ahead and put that back on. Now on the battery wire there is a little elbow on it. And it's in the back of the alternator there's a little spot for that to go in. Just so that way whenever you're tightening it down, it doesn't come loose or it doesn't move. But if you have to hold your wire while you're tightening it down, that's fine. Connect your wiring and all that. And just like that, guys, you got a new alternator in. Just make sure that you have your battery wire tightened down. Now, snug is good. You don't want to snap it that's inside of it. And then, of course, your connector at the bottom, just push until it clicks in. And that's it. After that, you just got to put your belt back on, your battery tray, your battery. I'm not going to show that in this video because my battery is actually charging. But I will put the diagram for the belt so you can put your belt back on. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry that it was all over the place and the angles were probably shitty and my arm was probably in the way of most of it, but I'm learning here. So please like, subscribe, and share. Check out the Instagram and Facebook at Backyard Jeeping and the website backyardjeeping.com.